We are live. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Rev Sports. It is India versus USA tonight. I am Gargi Raut and joining me today is Trisha Ghoshal, Bhuria Mujumdar, and we have Debashish Sen from the USA outside of the Nassau County Stadium. Debashish, right away over to you. Tell us about the mood. What's it like over there? Is the crowd same as India Pakistan, or do you think there is less crowd tonight?
Definitely, there is less crowd compared to what we witnessed during the India-Pakistan game. But the good news is the sun is brighting bright. As you can see right on my face, means it has been bright and sunny throughout, and it's going to remain like this. So we hope that we get to watch a brilliant match. But not many Indian fans with Indian jersey, and actually, in fact, they are carrying the USA flag. So they are wearing the Indian jersey and they are carrying the USA flag, and that's the mood around, buzz around. Means not many Indians coming, not many US fans, yes, but then most of the Indians are supporting the US team as well. So that's the beauty of the match today. And but then the turnout will not be as electric as the game
Okay,
against
all right.
Pakistan.
There was just
Not
another question. Is the security as stringent as the match in Pakistan, or is it
no, no,
a
no, no,
bit
no, no,
better now, or
Shweta,
is it the
no.
same?
No, no,
What's it
no.
like?
The security is not that stringent. Not that stringent for the game against for today's game. It's been very easy. Means means obviously the game against Pakistan, what we witnessed, nothing compared to that one. Means but then as far as security in today's match, and not so stringent, I would say.
He's getting stuck a little. Okay, he stopped talking.
Yeah. Trisha, over to you now. How are you looking at this match, India versus USA? We've looked at USA, what they've done in the last match. Do you think they can replicate that tonight, or will it be an easy peasy lemon squeezy match for India?
I hope not. I mean, for the sake of the game, especially because
No worries.
yeah, sorry, yeah, especially because of course India. I mean, USA is the host nation, so we would want them to put up at least some a little bit of competition. Um, But at the same time, I think if we get the chance to bowl first, I don't see it lasting, at least not
Oh.
being as big as the Pakistan USA match.
What about you, Boria? What are you thinking about this match? Do you think it's a good matchup, or is it India's match from now?
It should not be a good matchup. I mean, if India has to
Okay.
be sort of really pushed by the US, then there is a problem. That there is an issue because it's a far better team. There is no question. Devashish, what about the crowd? Clearly, from what we are seeing in the host broadcaster, there's nobody. The stadium is completely empty. If that is the case, then it's pretty disastrous. If you can't sell an India game, then what is the ICC going to sell? India, Pakistan, the ICC doesn't need to sell it. My daughter can sell that match. So if
The
what we are
match
seeing
sells itself.
exactly, I mean, from what we are seeing in the host broadcaster,
Stands are
stands are
empty.
completely empty. What are you getting on ground? How many thousand people will be there? What is the future? Because clearly, if an America match and India America match cannot be sold, then it's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely, Boria. And yes, the very low turnout means India. What we witnessed in the first game against Thailand, there were so many empty stands. It might be the case today as well. Yes, when you talk about India-Pakistan match, that was the match of the tournament, and we saw a full house, electrifying atmosphere. But yes, there are lot many Indians, as I said, a lot many Indian fans. But then when you ask me, what about the US fans? Local US fans, there are hardly very there are handful of them. So as a good advertisement when it comes to the World Cup here in the USA, and very low turnout so far. We might see crowd turning up, but then if you ask me, very less chances of getting a full house.
And
Yeah,
Devashish,
from these
yeah,
visuals, what we are seeing, this is like babies there. I decided to
Exactly.
go.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
go,
more
let's
like a
go.
picnic. Let's
Yeah, I
go.
mean, let's go and watch a
We
World
have
Cup.
time.
कुछ
Yeah.
तो चल रहा है, देख के
कुछ तो
क्या
चल
चल
रहा
रहा
है
है?
क्या चल
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
whatever it is, ये वर्ल्ड कप तो है नहीं.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, वर्ल्ड कप के एक अलग इंटेंसिटी होता है. एक अलग there is a whole how do I put it? There's a buzz of a World Cup.
Yes.
There's a buzz of a World Cup. There's a whole economy of a World Cup. There's a whole, kind of a passion of a World Cup that I don't see that. I just
But
don't
isn't
see
this
that.
a force feed? Like this World Cup is almost like a force feed in the US.
So then
They
we're
don't
not
even care about the game.
exactly, if that is the case, because I was reading a lot of articles which said that after the India Pakistan game, that cricket has arrived. Cricket has not arrived at all. Cricket has not arrived in any way. An India Pakistan match is a spectacle of the highest order, a global spectacle, and you have been able to sell that. But how has cricket arrived? Look, the one team whose matches you can easily sell is India. If India matches are not getting sold, then
It's a
whose
problem.
matches?
Yeah.
Also, Boria, having considered, Devashish is there, I would ask him also, since he has interacted with a number of fans, the kind of performance that USA pulled in against Pakistan. And it doesn't matter whether half Indians were playing, half Pakistanis were playing. That's all nonsense. Ultimately, it was your team, it was USA that won. Even after that, you don't see enough crowd, is what you're saying, Devashish, right? Do you see no belief in the crowd that they stand a chance against India?
And so, just to add to that question, Devashish, have you seen even one local?
Yeah.
Have you
No,
seen even
no,
one local US person?
no, no, no,
Not
no, no,
Indians,
no,
Or is
no.
it
US.
completely Desi diaspora that you are
Com-
seeing there, Indians, Pakistanis,
completely,
Bangladeshis, etc.? Have you
completely,
seen any
completely
local
disregard.
who wants to come and watch an Aaron Jones? Who wants to come and watch somebody else, a Saurav Netravalkar, not his family? Uh,
Yeah, not his family.
Yeah, not his family. I mean, Saurav Netravalkar's family will come and watch. That is fine. But have you seen any local? Because from what we are seeing, the pictures in the host broadcaster, it seems to be a completely empty stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. Means there are hardly any locals. If you ask me, mostly Indian diaspora, which and yes, they are with their US flags as well. They are sporting the Indian jersey, but at the same time, they are also carrying the US flag. Obviously, since they are residing here, but then the worst part is that you could hardly see any local fans. Means that is the biggest disappointment. So far, we have hardly witnessed any local groups. Means I'm talking about US citizens who have come to support their teams.
I think the only locals, if there are any, would be people that have been forced by their Indian friends to come and watch with them. Like this is the best match. This is the best sport in the world. You'll forget baseball. Aao to ek bar. I think that might be the only local crowd there, if there is any. But it seems very disappointing. Come on, it's India, and this is precisely what we were talking about before this tournament started. The only concern was if there is no Virat, because there was a time when we were talking about will there be Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli in the team,
Yes.
and that's when the concern was the matches are in USA. If there's no Virat, if there's no Rohit Sharma, how will the crowds come in? And now you have Rohit Sharma, you have Virat Kohli. There's no crowd still. How do you explain that?
But it's a country which does not take to this sport.
But even there have been promotions. I've been hearing from people that hoardings were put up 2 days before the matches started.
Yes, and there's this other thing that my brother-in-law and his friends wanted to go to a few of the India matches. The tickets, there was a lot of confusion about tickets. Which side the tickets are being sold in? How do you get it? Where is the stand? Which stand? How to go there? If you are having a World Cup there, and if you are not clear about these things,
I mean, look, it is one thing to go to the New York Stock Exchange. It is one thing to have a New York Times ad with a Statue of Liberty showing the cricket bat and all that.
Yeah.
But the fact is, these are all cosmetic. And we have to accept it. These are all cosmetic. This security madness that we have seen. If I was a fan, let's be candid here. If I was a cricket fan, I have been asked to walk 3 kilometers to go and watch an India versus US game. I won't go.
I won't.
I won't go. I'll say, fair enough, I'll watch on my television sets. Why should I walk 3 kilometers to watch an India versus US game?
And they have done that. Boyada, for the India Pakistan game, I think I was telling you guys that one of my mom's friends, they had put, because they were in New York, but it was so difficult to reach the stadium. They said, we don't want to go. A, it's expensive. B, it's difficult to reach the stadium. Might as well put up a projector, a big screen, and sit and enjoy with my family and friends.
Yeah. And also the thing I think about is There's a question. Yeah, we will talk about that, but I've completely lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with this. But
I mean, I think the ICC needs to sort of really get its the math together, because United States is not an easy market to penetrate. You're taking on local sports. You're taking on a baseball. You're taking on an NFL. You're taking on a NASCAR. You're taking on all of these local American sports. And American isolationism has forever. They are an insular society.
Yeah.
They will call the World Series.
Right.
The US only plays. What is world about it?
Yeah.
But that's what they will do. That is what they will do. They'll call it a World Series because America plays it.
Correct.
So if you have to break that and get into that, you have to do a lot more. Just not sort of New York Times ad or whatever it is. I haven't seen anything yet in this World Cup except the India-Pakistan match. The pitch was a disaster.
Yeah. Yes.
115 scores are not good enough for any. Yes, you can say it was competitive and all that. Frankly, the pitch was not good enough. Initially it was dangerous, then it was not so much dangerous, it was bad.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of base. Number two, no match was going beyond 120 runs. Outfield is just not good enough because no ball reaches the boundary. So you got it wrong in terms of your preparation. You got it wrong. Number three, your ticket prices were exorbitant. People were put off by that. Number four, your security measures were. So the Americans don't get it. The Americans just don't get it. So, these are important things that the ICC has to somehow solve.
absolutely. And I remembered what I was saying. When I look at these matches, whatever Debashish has been showing us when it comes to security, when it comes to those two ridiculous trucks facing off each other, I'm thinking, fans are made to walk so long to get to security. There's multiple security checks. It's all good and well, but it's not like matches don't happen in India as well, and there's no stringent security. But it seems like an overreach. At this point, what it feels like? It feels like America is saying, we're letting you play here,
Yeah.
so you better
Absolutely,
behave.
I agree.
I think it feels like that. Devashish, what's your thoughts on this? India holds an IPL every year, which holds way more than crowd than a T20 World Cup in USA or West Indies. We do it without such security measures. What are your thoughts?
Devashish, I have one more question. I want to also ask, how many local media did you see covering the T20 World Cup so far?
There are a few more that compared to what we witnessed in the last two India matches. There are at least 2 to 3 local media who have turned up to report for this match. But then talking about the facility, obviously we all know that this is a makeshift tournament and it's going to be taken away once the tournament finishes. So talking about the infrastructure, there is hardly any infrastructure when it comes to cricket here in this parts. And we all know, yes, they have started USA cricket, so they have started the Major League cricket. But having said that, there is not a fixed window as we have in the IPL or a BBL or even for that matter, the 100. So they have a long way to go if they have to make any inroads as far as the popularity of cricket is concerned. Yes, it's a tournament that has been mostly followed by the Indians who are residing in, and even more so, Indians who have flown in to these parts from all across the world. So, as far as the popularity is concerned, I don't see this World Cup will do a world of good. Yes, it's a one or two, but India they played their last game today, and they travel to Florida tomorrow where they take on Canada. But I would say there will be a lot more buzz when it comes to the Caribbean, because we know West Indies there will be a lot more buzz compared to what it is here in the US.
Yeah, Devashish, before I come to you, let's talk a little about the match. Not really, not much to talk about USA, but I would like to talk about India. And my first question, Boria, would be, it's a longish tournament. You have a group, Super 8 coming up as well. The question is very simple. Do you see some of the important players being rested?
Not in this one. Not in this one, because you are still not there as the pool toppers. So maybe not in this one. Against Canada, though there is chance of rain in the match against Canada in Florida, maybe there. but not in this particular match, because effectively you are playing 4 games in a matter of what, 10, 12 days.
Yeah.
So there is plenty of gap, and that too you're playing a T20 tournament. So there's no, I mean, I don't see India going in with a lesser team. I think India will go in with a full side and want to make a statement, because the Pakistan game was close. They will want to make a statement that, oh yes, we are the top team, we are the top dog. They will want to assert themselves in the tournament like an Australia has done, like other teams have done, and make the Super 8, close it out. And maybe against Canada thereafter, they would want to sort of rest a couple of players, but not today.
Trisha, I'll turn the question on you and ask you actually that do you see any team changes happening tonight?
I was actually going to ask Debashish because he was there in the nets. Did he see?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think he's better
first,
suited.
yeah. Let's go to Debashish. Debashish, you were at the nets. You saw them practicing. Do you think there will be changes? Did you see anybody focusing more in the nets or something of that sort? Basically, give us some
Yeah,
insights.
it was interesting to see Kuldeep Yadav getting a long ball in the nets, and he also batted for a long time. But whether he's going to play, but yesterday in the pre-match press conference, Paras Mamre did indicate that the conditions here in New York is slightly in favor of the seamers. So that might suggest that India might go in with a Shivam Dubey ahead of Kuldeep Yadav. So I don't see any changes. Yes, if there is one, means they never know. Maybe Kuldeep Yadav going by the way he trained yesterday, but still I reckon that it will be the same playing 11 with Akshar Patel getting in another chance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Myself. Absolutely. I think I also agree with Debashish in the sense that probably there will be no changes because of the pitch, because the pitch suits the pacers, and your options are, of course, Shivam Dubey. Will we see him bowl? That's another question, because if he's not batting well, if you have to justify his place in the 11, which you feel, I mean, as a captain, probably Rohit and the coach, Rahul Dravid, feels balances the team out, then shouldn't he also bowl?
I agree. That's a very important point. I think we should give him 2 overs. Rohit should give him 2 overs because he can just get a couple of wickets and get that confidence back. Because if he gets that confidence back, it might just help his batting also. Because he's not batting well. And if you see the way the catch was dropped of Rizwan, it said that he wasn't confident enough. His feet weren't moving, the ball went in and went out. So give him the confidence. Look, when the team was first selected, I was against the inclusion of Shivam Dubey because I thought Rinku Singh was better. But my point is, once you have taken the guy, give him a fair run.
Exactly.
Right.
There's no question of sort of dropping him after 2 matches. Give him a fair run. And Debashish was actually making this point that he's bowling regularly at the nets. Ask him this question, that has he seen him bowl pretty regularly? If that is the case, then clearly India is mulling that option of giving him a couple of overs. That's why he's bowling at the nets. And I think he should bowl a couple of overs for sure.
Has Debashish told us about Shivam
Yes,
Dubey?
he was bowling.
Okay. So it will be interesting to see whether or not he's bowling more or less in the nets as we go forward. Of course, Debashish will be giving us all the updates. But I was looking at these adverts.
Actually, ask Debashish about this. Ask Debashish about the Shivam Dubey. How much has he bowled in the nets?
Devashish, I think you can hear us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us
Yesterday
how much
during
Shivam Dubey has been bowling? Has he been bowling as
he has been
regularly as the
bowling.
other pacers?
Yeah, he has been bowling a lot in the nets and along with Hardik Pandya. So both of them have been bowling for a considerable length during the practice session. But yesterday in the optional practice session, he did turn up, but he did not. Neither did he bat nor he bowled. So because the Indian team had an event with the ICC, with the little kids organized by the ICC, so that's the reason several Indian players turned up. They had a fun time with the local kids here, mostly Indians. So, but then talking about Shivam Dubey, yes, as I also agree that if you have picked in the side and considering that he has been bowling in the nets in there is no, obviously you would hope to see him bowl at least a couple of overs, especially in the game against USA.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, I was going to stray away from this topic if that's okay.
Why?
What do you mean why? Let's just fix this.
Yeah.
or we'll all keep getting confused. But what I was saying was today, 14 years ago, Virat Kohli made his debut in T20s. He's been the king of T20s ever since. Not the king of India, but
Yeah, every World Cup we somehow make Virat Kohli the king of India, but yeah, he has been a king. 14 years, T20.
questions.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think, but Boria, I have to come to you. Today we are talking about 14 years of Virat Kohli. 2 nights ago, there were some people who were saying Virat Kohli is overrated. Please, you know what? 14 years of a man, 14 years ruling, and when I say ruling,
Not just average.
yeah, exactly.
Greatest.
The average, the strike rate actually make him one of the greatest evers. But people still doubt him somehow.
They don't understand the game. That's the problem. They don't understand the game. That day when India scored 119, half the people were trashing India in the middle of the match. And people said, this is a rubbish team. They can't play. They can't take pressure. They are this. They are horrible. And the moment the match was over, everybody said, "Arey, we are the greatest team. We are this." So this is the fickleness of the Indian fan that I always talk about. That we sort of jump to conclusions very fast. We jump to conclusions, and look, ultimately Virat Kohli has been a phenomenon by himself. He has been the greatest of his generation, perhaps the greatest ever run chaser for sure. I mean, and I keep in mind my friend Sachin Tendulkar when I say that. Sachin Tendulkar composite overall maybe a better player, especially Test cricket. But Virat Kohli in white ball cricket has been an absolute phenom. So, I mean, what? Look at this: 71 average or something like that in what T20 cricket, 50 average, scoring runs like anything for 14 years. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So, celebration of Virat Kohli is only natural, but we want to, for it to continue, because the only problem is while we celebrate 14 and all that is fine, you want to win a World Cup.
Definitely.
You want to win a World Cup because he's won a World Cup in 11 when he was a relative rookie. It was not his World Cup. You understand? It was Tendulkar's World Cup, Dhoni's World Cup, Yuvraj's World Cup. Not Kohli made tangible contributions, 100 in Dhaka, final 41, but not Virat was not the Virat who's the talisman or the Pied Piper. Now he's the talisman or the Pied Piper, and he wants to win this. So we want a World Cup win. And I keep saying this: Leo Messi is Leo Messi today over and above Cristiano Ronaldo is because he won that World Cup in Qatar. So you want to win that World Cup, and we talk about dominance. Just digressing, we keep talking about BCCI's dominance of world cricket. Aren't we glad? Aren't we glad? Yesterday, what you saw in football, no referee, no match referee, no umpire can ever do that with India in cricket because his job will go in a second, in a jiffy. That is why you need, because it was color, it was Middle Eastern oil, it was whatever you want to call it. Sadly, that is why India is discriminated against in football. But in cricket, we rule. And that's my problem. Look at the stadium and the host broadcaster. If you are not able to sell an India game and half the stands are still empty, what are we talking about? What's the future of this World Cup in the US? Clearly, it's a problem.
Absolutely. But Ishan is already, Ishan has joined us. Welcome, Ishan. But before I let Debashish go, hold on a second, Rohan, don't confuse me. But before we let Debashish go, I just wanted to.
He just disappeared.
Debashish just went. I was asking him a question. No.
I did not go.
Oh,
Ishan
Debashish
went.
is there. Ishan is gone.
Ishan went. Okay.
Okay. Devashish, my question to you is, you have covered a number of cricket tours. So you have followed Virat's journey quite closely. I just wanted to ask, have you seen any difference when it comes to his practices or his preparation in this 14 years? Because I'm just trying to understand that how do you bring this consistency? How do you bring that intensity for 14 years? Swapnil can't even bring it for 14 days to the job.
Yeah, obviously, when it comes to training sessions, Virat, and whenever he attends a practice session, he ensures that he puts in his best, and that has been so for last 14 years. And there is no question about his dedication to the game. But in recent times, there is a change in the mode, the way he prepares. He takes in a lot of throwdowns. Means obviously he prefers taking in a lot of throwdowns instead of facing the bowlers. He like Tendulkar in his later stages, he took throwdowns more so because Raghu used to give him throwdowns. I covered that 211 World Cup right from the Bangalore camp, and it's that Tendulkar used to take throwdowns. So Virat has been taking throwdowns in most of the practice sessions. Yes, and also considering the wickets here, the wickets here, because of the nature of the
Devashish, we
wicket,
have to let you
it's
go for
better.
Hindi. We have to let you go for Hindi. So the final question, is this the most dampening World Cup that you have covered? Is this the most
Actually,
underwhelming
exactly,
World
exactly.
Cup that you have covered?
Actually, and we both have covered the 2019 World Cup, the 2022 T20 World Cup in Australia. Nothing matches. Means obviously this is a real dampener. Except for that India Pakistan game, there is not much excitement around. Yes, there are fans getting in mode now, but then hardly we can see a full house today.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Debashish. We'll let you go now. Ishan is showing us some visuals, not very bright, not very vibrant as we would have
Yes,
liked.
it's bright because of the sun, not because of the fans.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
And that's very sad. I mean,
It's
think
quite
of this,
vibrant.
an India
I've
game.
just
Forget
moved
about an
across
India
from the
game.
stadium a bit.
RCB game has more supporters than this. Come on.
I think at this point,
RCB game has 300 times more supporters than this. I mean,
I
I
No,
was seeing
it's
Gargi was talking about some Chennai Super Kings fans in a host broadcaster show. IPL, look, the Cricket World Cup is not even 1/10 of the property
yeah,
that an IPL
that's
is.
true.
Let's face it.
Absolutely.
The IPL is the crowning jewel of world cricket. The Cricket World Cup is not even close. And if you do this, what we are seeing here in the US, an India US game is played to empty stands, then what are you actually doing to your premier property? If you are not able to sell a World Cup or market a World Cup, then it's a problem. Yes, I understand you're going to the New York Stock Exchange, or you will talk about, oh, we've made a stadium in 100 days and celebrating in 100 days and all that. But the truth is, you have not been able to market the sport. And unless you are able to market the sport and you are able to sell it, why are you not getting in school children? Get in school children and fill it up. Do something about it. Don't hold a World Cup with half empty stats,
Get
because
club kids. There's so many options.
do something about it. You've got to do something about it, because if you are hosting a World Cup with half empty stands, the thing that you are giving to the world, the vibe that you're giving to the world is very disappointing.
At this point, what I'm thinking is, if there's one person,
Yes.
Just let's go to him.
yeah. I was just making a
please,
small
please.
point. I was just saying that if there's one person who could have filled up the stadiums, it would have been MS Dhoni. I don't think a single seat would have gone empty if MS Dhoni
No, it
was
just seems that these people are reluctant because you know how Virat Kohli's fan following is.
That's true
It's
as
it's pretty bad. But I think Rev Sports has more representatives than the crowd almost, and one of them is trying to show us live visuals. Ishan, tell us about the crowd a little, and have you been able to grasp this whole thing that your first World Cup, as someone who's covering it as a reporter, do you feel a little disappointed with this?
uh, hi, am I? Oh, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear. Yes, yes.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, great, awesome, yeah. So, talking about disappointment, to be honest, it's not it's not, you're right, it's not a complete sellout, but I've actually moved aside a bit from the main stadium, so that's why you might seem like, the crowds entering are less. But, the India-Pakistan game was completely sold out. The game here today as well, the crowds are definitely coming in, but it's not in the same numbers that we saw in India-Pakistan. So I think the India-Pakistan possibly was the game of the tournament, and unfortunately after that we might see a dip, but that's not what you want, right? I mean, you want to maintain that same sort of tempo with every single game. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't see that happening. There is a crowd here, no doubt, but it's not the same vibe, it's not the same tempo as the India-Pakistan game. Cheers.
Yeah, Ishan, I wanted to ask you, like, have you been able to talk to some locals over there? Are they is anyone actually watching the World Cup or even attending?
And when we say locals,
If you're
we are
talking
not
about the
not talking
locals,
about South
Gargi,
Asian
no.
diaspora.
Like,
If you're talking about the American locals, then no. We've spoken to a few. No one's really interested in the World Cup. But the Indian Americans, Pakistani Americans, all of them are definitely invested. But just the American locals per se, no. I mean, they have no idea. I mean, we've come and so we keep traveling by Ubers and at times. and at times, we meet different people, and they often ask us, "What is cricket? Where are you guys going? What's happening here?" So it is that. So that is the biggest situation at the moment, and it comes to us to explain to them, this is what it is. It's between two teams, and you use a bat and a ball. So you're basically starting off with the basics. So the American
Right.
locals have no idea what's happening. The Indian Americans, Pakistani Americans, Bangladeshi Americans, of course, they have a great understanding.
So the gist of it is that locals are curious, but they're not participating. That's all.
They're just curious.
This has been a problem with the United States for a long, long time. Ishan, if you can hear me, I mean, football, for example, has forever been football as in soccer. Football, for example, or soccer has forever been a participatory sport, not a spectator sport. Not a spectator sport in the US. It has forever been a participatory sport, and that's a big problem. That's a big problem. I mean, I see a lot of people when I was teaching there. I see a lot of people participating in football. Every local ground would have people, especially girls, playing. But I did not see it getting transformed into spectator sport. Is that the case in cricket? Ishan, what is the case? Is that the case? You are seeing people play, but there's no interest in spectatorship. Is it because of the ticket prices? Is it because of security? What is the? How do I understand this? What's the root of this?
Ishan, can you hear us?
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, hi. Boreda, sorry, could you just repeat that in short again? There was a bit of a network issue here.
Sorry, what?
Could you just repeat that question in short again? There was a slight network issue here.
Repeat the question.
The question I'm asking is, are you seeing people play? I mean, are you seeing cricket becoming a participatory sport, but not a spectator sport? That, okay, they're playing, they're curious, I'm interested, but I won't go to the ground. Is it because of the excessive security? Is it because of the ticket prices? I don't want to take the pain of going to a ground where I have to face all this, because I've seen this with football in the United States. That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Boreda. I think it's absolutely valid. First of all, I think the ticket prices are just something which I haven't experienced at all. It's selling for prices which it's just to a level where it's ridiculous. So obviously, people and the audiences do prefer staying at home, but then of course it's happened in the States for the first time, so you will expect that crowd out here, turning up. But it's been pretty inconvenient. I think it's been pretty inconvenient, and obviously not been managed maybe in the best way possible. Of course, those practice wickets aren't helping the teams. The security is extremely tight, which is supposed to be tight, and it's absolutely just. But at some level, Debashish and myself felt that maybe they're taking it notch too ahead. So I think all these factors might contribute in that way where audiences might not be as invested to go out and turn up for a game. But again, I feel the locals will definitely take some time to get used to this game. The Indians will love this game forever. So will the Pakistanis and Bangladeshis. For the locals, I don't see the sport coming into America for a long, long time. I think it's been like the World Cup has started at the moment. Obviously, that sort of attraction has been built. But for the locals to get invested, I think it will take easily, more than a decade, maybe 20, 25 years.
Ishan, we'll talk about what Ishan just said, but before that, let me quickly give the toss update. Rohit Sharma has won the toss, and India has decided to field first, which means I think the prediction would be how many overs will USA last?
Yeah, I think it's half done. I said this the other day when Pakistan got it. Pakistan botched it up. India won't. I think it's done. Because if in this wicket, if you win the toss here, half the job is done. Let me give the team. We were saying there'll be no changes. So it's Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Surya Kumar Yadav. Predictable side. Shivam Dube gets his spot again. So clearly there is a consistency there. Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Arshdeep Singh, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. So same team for India. Same team. There is consistency, and I like this. I like this in Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid. They will give you a long run. They will give you a long run, and it's good to see. But the only thing is, I just want Shivam Dube to bowl. But having won the toss, I think India has done the job half.
Yeah, I think the most heartening thing is to see that Shivam Dube has retained his place. Of course, from the outside, people were criticizing
See,
him a lot.
it's the trolls who were doing
Yeah, exactly, not
doing
the
the job.
management.
Absolutely, because look, it's very simple. The management has seen something and selected him. In 2 matches, suddenly he could not have become a bad player. So if you have gone with him, you will stick with him for at least this leg. Maybe what I genuinely believe is, Boria, that when you go into West Indies, the pitches become spin friendly. That is when probably, again, it is all probably, where you might get a Kuldeep Yadav in place of Shubham Dubey, because you already have two all rounders in Aksar and Hardik Pandya.
Contrarily, you actually will allow Shivam Dubey to play his shots because the West Indies wickets might just suit him a little bit more than New York. So he might just get into groove and start playing good shots. So this opportunity, if he gets a couple of wickets in America, which might just suit him, it will change the whole dynamic. I think India is going to persist with this team.
Yeah.
I think, Kuldeep Yadav will come in. Kuldeep Yadav will come in, but in whose place? Aksar Patel or Shivam Dubey? It will depend on the next couple of games, and we've got to see. Ishan, tell me something. This question I asked Debashish. You said there is curiosity among locals. There's no Ishan?
I don't think so. I don't see him anywhere.
Is Ishan there? Okay. There was a network issue at Ishan's end. So can we have some visuals, please? I mean, so that at least, look, I have watched practically every T20 World Cup. 2009 I was 2009 I was there in England. 2010 I was there in the Caribbean. 2012 I was there in Sri Lanka. 14 in Bangladesh. 16 here. I have not seen a damn squib like this. I haven't. And that's where I start doubting myself, that is this marketing the game in the United States really a good call? I mean, have you got it right? Did you get your research right? I know how much effort has gone in. I do. I also know that, look, when I think of the LA call, I think of the LA call. The LA call is to use the South Asian market and the television might of the South Asian market. The Olympics, which are valued at 10 rupees today, will instantly go up to 100 rupees because you have been able to include cricket. So the television audience in India will consume it. I get that. But what about, and you know why I think it's good? Because you have a mountain biking, you have a break dancing in an Olympics. So why not a cricket? But when it comes to a World Cup, and you actually went to New York.
Yeah.
And I think you sort of thought that, I mean, look, when I see these visuals and US game, so basically the host team is playing. The host country and the host team is playing. And from what I see in the host broadcaster and what I see from Ishan's visuals, I think not even half the stadium will be full. And if that is what I see for a World Cup game with this kind of weather, 24 and 17, perfect weather for sport, beautiful sun, then there is a problem, boss. And it's time we acknowledge, because unless we introspect that, we were not able to market the sport in the manner we wanted to, you will never be able to. If you keep telling yourself we've done a great job by preparing a stadium in 100 days, by going to New York Stock Exchange, we've done some cool stuff, then there is a bit of an issue. I think the ICC is patting themselves on the back a bit too much.
Let's play the visuals.
Yeah, as you can see, I mean, this kind of cricket crowd, also it is not going to ever encourage anyone to pick up. You were asking a very important question, that whether Ishan and Debashish have seen people actually playing the sport. But when you have such turnouts for NBA games, for baseball games, and then you see for cricket, as a child, you won't want to pick up the cricket bat.
If my daughter or anybody sees a half-empty stadium, and every weekend when you see a college game, think about a Duke versus North Carolina, think of Tobacco Road, think of 200,000 people. It's gone.
Yeah.
So when I see all of that, when I see a local sport, I mean, I know the ICC is doing its best. I know the host, Ravi Shastri's energy at the toss was cumulatively more than every spectator out there. And that's Ravi Shastri.
Yeah.
And I love that about Ravi. But sadly, there's no people. Who is he shouting for? So, and that's the problem. With 20 minutes to go for the game, if you see the host broadcaster, if you see the visuals, you are alarmed. On a day like this, beautiful weather day, You have not been able to fill the stadium. Why did you not get students? Why did you not go to the schools? Why did you not go to the relatively poorer neighborhoods? Why did you not go to the underprivileged neighborhoods and bring such people? Why did you not make this into an experience for people who will never be able to come to a cricket World Cup game? These are important questions that I think need to be posed. I mean, all the visuals that we are playing on screen, everybody is a desi. Look at this. Everybody is a desi wearing an India jersey. I hardly see a foreigner. I mean, I hardly see a local. I hardly see a Gora. I hardly see a local American who wants to watch the game. It's everything Indian. So effectively, you're talking about an enclave, and that's the spectator base for you. No sport, Gargi Trisha, will ever take off if you are not able to go to the locals.
So what you're saying is the only reason for ICC to do this is to look forward to the Olympics and create a presence in USA for cricket. Is that why they've done it? I mean, there must be a good reason for this. Like,
That's actually a good question. That's actually a very good question. I mean, obviously, one of the reasons was the Olympics. But suppose the Olympic inclusion did not happen, they were still going there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're still going there. I mean, the ICC was still going to the US to promote the sport. They were going to the US and the Caribbean, and they were trying to market the sport because look, the sport. Let's put it this way: globally, and I'm going to make some harsh comments here. Globally, the sport is dying, except franchise cricket.
Right.
That to the IPL. Look at the Big Bash. Look at the IPL. They're still viable.
The 100, which is practically dying at this.
100 is gone.
Yeah.
100 has. I mean, they botched it up. The ECB.
Yeah. The word is they botched it up.
They botched it up. The ECB botched it up. I mean, you wanted to be different and you botched it up. But when I think of the IPL and every game is sold out, irrespective of whatever happens, and then I think of a cricket World Cup, I actually think, look, in India, look at this market. I mean, the US market, you've not been able to take the sport. I bet my bottom dollar in the Caribbean, not every game will be a sellout. Not every game. If you go to a Sri Lanka, you go to a Bangladesh, maybe if you go to a Nepal, it will be. You have to go to markets which are newer markets where you have something, where you have, and where does the ICC go? Nepal, yes. Bangladesh, yes. But look at Bangladesh. It's such a horrible team.
Yeah.
Bangladesh, Bangladesh is not even a club side.
Yeah.
So if Bangladesh would have been good enough, that market has incredible fandom. If there is one market where the fandom can compete and outcompete India, it's Bangladesh and Nepal. But that's why I'm worried. What is the future of this sport?
Right.
What is the future of a World Cup if you are not able to sell a World Cup, for God's sake, and that to this format? This is not a 50 overs.
It's the newest,
It's not a 50
most
overs.
exciting-
You were able to sell it.
Yeah.
20 overs. This is your format. 3 hours gone, done, job done. You are not even able to sell this. Then what will you sell? What on earth will you sell? I mean, it's all good to have a Saurav Netrawalkar coming and singing to you and all that. But when he tells you that I have actually done a meeting for Oracle in the middle of a cricket game, then it also tells you that that game is not viable.
True.
That Saurav Netrawalkar doesn't depend on cricket. Saurav Netrawalkar depends firstly on his Oracle job, and cricket continues to be a hobby or a passion that he pursues.
Like I read books in between my work. It's
No,
fun
but
for them.
When I think of this, there are a lot of sports who are actually trying to tap into the American market. Formula One being the one that's trying the hardest. They've added 3 or 4 races to the American calendar. That's because racing is already a huge sport in America. Motorsports, rallying, Dakar. There's so many things that are happening in America, so that makes sense. You'll have an audience when you bring your sport there. When you bring F1 to America, there will be millions of people who are going to watch it. But what's with cricket? I still don't understand the logic behind this.
Probably they were trying to make inroads but have horribly failed, because one more point I think we should keep harping on it is the ticket prices, because even Ishan said right now that the ticket prices are horrible. Maybe $1,200 for an India Pakistan game. You are saying it's expensive, but now the same $1,200 for an India USA game, you'll never go. You'll never watch it. You have to, for example, BCCI started doing something. They started, the women's cricket and WPL tickets. There were no tickets. It was for free.
100,
and then it became
100 or
100,
200.
200. So that's how you attract people. Or what Mumbai Indians does, when they get matches where probably it's not a complete sold out, they just go to schools and get kids.
This is an important point. Look, how much money in your larger cricket economy do you get from ticket sales? So let's divide it. So how does an ICC make money? Broadcast is overwhelming, and then gate receipts, etc., sponsorship, etc. All of that is way more than ticket prices.
Yes,
Right.
Ticket prices don't even constitute more than 2 to 3%. 2 to 3% of the overall country. So why do you need that?
Exactly.
I mean, would this World Cup not look nicer with packed stadiums? You are playing to an Indian TV audience. That's what you're playing for.
Yeah.
You are actually playing this World Cup to an Indian TV audience, which is sitting down at 8 o'clock and watching. You are not playing to an American audience. This is 10:30 in the morning. Which fool will come and watch an India-USA game? Will bunking work? You won't.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not going to happen, boss. So if that is the case, then make it free. Forget your ticket prices. Forget that. Make the stadium a packed stadium. Do innovative things. Give it to people. Get people in. Do schools. Make a marketing plan. Don't tell me you can't. I'm sure you can. So get something done whereby the stadium will not look, because look, when I watch on TV and I watch an empty stand, this reminds me of COVID. It gives me a low.
Yeah.
It gives me a big low, saying, what's going on, boss? I mean, and when I watch a half-empty stand in a World Cup, trust me, I get put off. I want to switch this off and say, hello, I don't want to watch. And it's not me
Remind
alone.
you of Tokyo?
Yeah, I mean, and I can tell you, I mean, Tokyo was eerie. When I used to go to a huge stadium and there's nobody. It reminds me of a world that is not the world that I want to inhabit. And this is like that. There are some desis who are shouting up and down, and some diaspora who have come here and sort of enjoying the game. How does your sports tourism companies make money? They can't make money. They will not even be able to sell. These companies will not even have it viable. You will market one India-Pakistan game, and that's about it. You mean to say in the West Indies you will be able to sell this tournament? I'm sorry, West Indies doesn't even have, except Barbados, where the economy is vibrant. Jamaica doesn't have the money.
No.
Trinidad, it's okay, but Jamaica doesn't have the money. Barbados, yes. Will I get a full house? At least in the CPL, we do get some full houses. But in the I think this American experiment of the Cricket World Cup
Has failed.
I don't want to say failed because it's a harsh word. It
hasn't had success either.
No, it's a glass half empty rather than half full.
That's true. But time for us to wrap up. What are the predictions? I won't ask who will win. Okay, that's not what I mean by predictions. Tell me how many runs USA is making.
USA, I don't know, 75 all out?
What? You're really underselling them, huh?
Okay, 80 all out?
Look, if it's a 100 game, there's no charm because India has won the toss and half the job is done.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually ask me, let USA beat India. Let the World Cup come alive.
Very interesting, right?
Let the World Cup come alive. Something has to happen.
Spice things up.
Something has to happen in this World Cup for the World Cup to come alive. So far, it's been a damn squib of a World Cup. And make no mistake, it's a damn squib of a World Cup.
I'll just say something. No, I think you're a little wrong there. Pakistan has tried to make it.
Pakistan tried their best.
Yeah.
Pakistan tried their absolute best. Babar Azam did everything possible in his powers to ensure that we have some talking points. But Babar Azam is alone.
Yeah.
He's in a league of his own, and he's swimming alone.
Yeah.
So I mean, Pakistan is a lone sort of crusader in trying to market this World Cup so far. We don't see other teams doing it. Let's get some stuff done. I mean, Virat Kohli in his 14th year doesn't score. Rohit Sharma doesn't score. Jasprit Bumrah bowls the wildest 4 overs he has ever done. The truth is, it doesn't happen.
But Shivam Dube will pick up 5 wickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen. So, however much we want to say all this, it's not going to happen. And if it's another one-sided game, it'll be another damn squib.
Another boring.
And T20 cricket, if it becomes one-sided, like yesterday was what? Some team got 75, Australia. Some team, Namibia got 75, was 20 teams. So really, Australia finished it in what, 5 overs?
Yeah.
David Warner, Mitchell Marsh, and Travis Head. I was watching. I was like,
They
what
were
is this?
probably having net practice.
What is this? I mean,
No,
in
I think that practice is tougher because they have to face Mitchell Stark.
Their own bowlers.
5.4 overs, the match was finished. It's a cricket World Cup game. Do you see such stupidity in a football World Cup?
Nope.
Every team is competitive out there. Every team. Do you see such things in a tennis tournament? No. Do you see such things in a Grand Slam? Do you see such things in any? I mean, what are we reducing our cricket to? What are we reducing our cricket to? We are, and then when you compare, IPL, all 10 teams are competitive where you will get solid stuff. And that's where you put in a Namibia, you put in all of these. That day I was watching Uganda. The fellows were all out for, you don't blame them. They were all out for 39. They had no idea what was happening against the West Indies. They were all out for 39. Akil Hussain picked up fiver. I mean, and nobody had a clue what he was doing. Akil Hussain was just getting the ball to turn in, and everybody was getting bowled or LBW. Now, how on earth is this a cricket World Cup, for God's sake?
All right, that's time for us to wrap up the show now. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until then, stay tuned to Rev Sports. The match starts soon. Have a good night. Thank you.
Join us after the match. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, it's good match. It's going to be a good match. I mean, we support India from the base, but we are in the USA, so we support both teams.
Oh, Rishabh Pant is one of the best batsmen right now in the Indian cricket team. After Rohit Sharma.
So what about you? क्या लग रहा है? Who is going to win this game?
Both.
Both? All right. Supporting both? Yeah.
Yeah, we are from India, but we are supporting both USA and India. Go India.
India, my country, USA, my